What up? Hope you all are having an amazing Friday. Hope you all, everything you set out to do this week, you got accomplished. Today has been a very relaxing day for me. Um, didn't get into too much stuff other than just a little bit of thinking. Did get a chance to do a lot of research today, but I wanted to tap in here with you all, and I wanted to ask a question. And that question is, are you living your dream? And if you're not living your dream, do you need to wake up? And I really want you to think hard just about those questions. Because if you're not living your dream, then what are you really doing? There's a lot of time that goes by week after week, day after day. So much time that we push other things off that we could really be benefiting from. And I'm not here to obviously judge anyone. I have to ask myself those same questions. Am I living my dream? Or do I really just need to wake up? And I'm going to ask that you take the time to ask those same questions to yourself. What's up, family? There are a ton of things you can do with your day, with your week, with your month, or with your year. Are you truly capitalizing on those moments? And if you're not, what's really stopping you? I was thinking about this as soon as I popped on all of these platforms. I don't know how many it says 8 different platforms. How you doing today, Miss Linda? It says I'm on 8 different platforms, but the thing I was thinking about is that as we're talking about how to get out of your rat race, we're talking about how to build generational wealth. We're talking about these things. Right before I popped on, one of the things that I realized is that a lot of people just trying to figure it out. A lot of people really just trying to figure it out, and a lot of people are winging it. I get it. I've been in that boat. I understand. What's happening, family? So I say that to say, are you living your dream? And if you're not, do you need to wake up so that you can start living your dream for real? Because nothing stops us but us. And a lot of times, we are just hustling for a weekend. That's it. Today is Friday. A lot of people don't have to work this weekend. They ready to kick back, relax. They done had a long week. I get it. But what's the point? These 2 days are going to go by so fast, you're not even going to remember it. And if you don't have anything planned, it's going to go by even faster. So what's the point? I was having a conversation with my brother earlier today. He reached out to me and we were just talking about, next moves, things of that nature. And it's one of the things that I asked when I very first started doing these lives. Like, my TikTok family that are live with me, my Instagram family that's live with me, now YouTube, Facebook, and all the other platforms that are live with me right now. I asked this question probably almost 20 weeks ago on my very first live. Does the math make sense? And if the math don't math, why do we keep trying to force the math to work? Like, for the life of me, I cannot understand, and maybe it's just me, for all the people that make up all these numbers that they make on their jobs or in their business, for the life of me, why even make up the numbers? You just got to be real with yourself, right? So we hear all the time that the perfect number of $100,000 a year that everyone makes, even though we know the medium is somewhere around newly is around about $63,000 a year. The difference between that 63,000 and that 100,000, it's not a lot, y'all. The number still is the same. You're still in between blessings. But I always ask this question. If you make $100,000 a year, after taxes, benefits that you pay for, whatever, 401ks, whatever it is, and you bring home $60,000 after taxes and all these other things that you spend the money on from before you get your check, you're living off of $50,000 a year. And that's me being generous, because most people live off the whole 60. The same individual that would tell you that make $100,000 a year have no savings. They haven't saved a dime. And for the ones that have saved money, they save maximum $10,000 a year. So I'm asking the question because maybe I never got the answer when I asked this question, almost 20 weeks ago. Maybe I get the answer now. If you're living off of $50,000 a year and you're saving $10,000 a year and you work at this company until you retire, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years, let's call it 30. I don't know. But if you're living off this income, the $50,000 a year, you're saving $10,000 a year for the next 30 years, you've officially put away what, $300,000? But it's costing you $50,000 a year to live off of this money. You officially then stacked away 6 years worth of living expenses. But you spent 30 years doing it. Somebody please tell me how that maths. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Because when you retire, you're not going to magically learn how to invest your money. You're just going to get finessed out of your money. So for the life of me, I can't wrap my brain around why we think this is a good plan. We know it's not. What's up, family? That's why majority of the people, when they retire, within 2 years, they go back to work. Because the math don't math. It's not even logical. So for just me, because again, I'm not college educated. I barely got a high school diploma. Maybe I missed that class in high school, or maybe it was in college and I didn't get that math. But somebody got to help me make that make sense. You got to wrap your brain around doing something different than what you were taught. I understand. You're right. We were told it was security, but it's a false sense of security. It doesn't exist. Whether you go to a job and you get a paycheck, or you go into business for yourself, no matter the situation, you in the same boat. Until you stop trading your time for money and start trading your money for time, you're in the exact same boat. It doesn't matter if you have a business, doesn't matter if you work a 9 to 5, None of that matters if you're trading time for money. You're gonna lose that battle. There's no other way around it. I've been sitting at the, I ain't do much anything but some thinking. That's it. I did kind of the same thing yesterday and the day before that. Because the people that work the hardest make the least. The people that work the least make the most. It's just the truth. If you got a 9-to-5 job, I guarantee you, you don't know nobody at your job above you that work harder than you. You don't. They'll tell you they put in 50, 60 hours a weekend at work. I can tell you when I was at the bank, putting 50, 60 hours in a week at work, I was sitting in my office listening to music. I wasn't working hard. Mentally, I was trying to strategize on how to improve performance, but that was about it. Here today, I'm not breaking a sweat. And I'm not breaking a sweat, not because I'm not making money. The money that I was making at the bank, it would have let me say it this way. The money that I'm going to make this year alone, that the business is going to make, because I don't earn an income, those 8 different businesses, the money that those businesses make, it would have taken at least 80 years to 100 years for me to make that type of money. 1 year worth of business, 8 different business, 1 year would have took me almost 80 to 100 years to make that type of money. But I ain't working 2,000 hours a year. I'm barely working 60. So I asked the question, are you really living your dream? Or do you just need to wake up? This false sense of security that has been placed upon a lot of us, right? How can I say this? When you get in your late 60s, early 70s, and you are retired, where are you traveling to? What are you actually doing? What do you envision yourself doing at this age? I mean, I don't know. There is a better way, y'all. There's 100% a better way. It starts with you thinking, it starts with you researching, and it starts with you taking action. Somebody said visiting grandkids. That's amazing too. Shout out to that. That's a blessing. I mean, no shade to anybody, but you kind of have to spend that time with that grandkid because you miss a lot of times with your kids. Because between you working, they're in school, by the time they get home from school and you get home from work, you're preparing food. You're getting them ready for getting their homework situated, getting them prepared for the next day. Then you get prepared for the next day, and then you're going about the next day about how you're doing it. Wouldn't it be much better to have all that time with your kids now? And then when your grandkids come along, your kids already understand how to do this process. And they just repeating what you showed them. Versus waiting another 50, 30, 40, 50 years and not spending their time with their kids just to try to make up time with their grandkids. And sometimes I get it. You got to do what you got to do. I'm not mad at it. But what I will say is, wouldn't it be much better when you feel better if the people that you care about and love the most, you could just spend all your time with them? This morning, I did the same thing I did yesterday morning, y'all. And people are, at the school, well, my youngest kid at now, because I've been up, I did it up the other day. I'm directing traffic, dropping my kid off, picking them up. I'm directing traffic early in the morning. We up bright and early. I'm directing traffic for the people that's dropping off kids and people that's picking them up. Volunteering. And I know, because I had the question today, one of the employees, I'm gonna say, AKA one of the teachers, asked me, what do you do for a living? Because you're here all the time. We don't necessarily have to ask you for anything. You just say, hey, what can I do to help? It don't matter if we need funds. It doesn't matter if we need your time. You just always showing up. I told her I'm retired. I couldn't tell her that I do what the banks do. I couldn't tell her I do what the wealthy people do. We ain't had that much time. Cars pulling in, I'm trying to direct. So I just simply told her I'm retired. It's like, that's a blessing. And you look young too. Yeah, I retired young. My kids ain't ever gonna forget that. They ain't never gonna forget that. They ain't never gonna forget seeing me every single day. They ain't ever gonna forget seeing me today, picking them up from school after I didn't direct traffic. They might be a little upset that I'm directing traffic and they got to stay back a little bit longer. But still having time to go make it to the bank, to go get all that direct deposit money. What I'm saying is, we got to make sense out of this, y'all. And we got to stop believing all of these things that we know ain't real. We know this stuff ain't real. There's nobody in none of these lives, here, or here. In none of these lives, there's nobody that's hearing what I'm saying right now that's saying, this is the first time I didn't heard this. Y'all already know this stuff. Y'all know there's a better way. But for whatever reason, you can call it fear. You can call it whatever you want to call it. For whatever reason, it's preventing from taking the steps. And that's mind-blowing to me. Because the reality of it is, only you can stop you. I got to get up in the morning, head back down here, and go into home number 29 tomorrow. I'll be live on home number 29. I think what I've decided to do is go live in TikTok and just kind of go through it and let y'all kind of see what's being done and all the other stuff. And then I'm probably gonna go live a little bit after that in Instagram. But I got to go back down here because I got to get prepared for another builder. And we're probably going to be down there probably, I'm thinking noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, somewhere around there. And we also going to be looking at some other properties tomorrow. Because my brother said, man, we got a bunch of properties that we need to go look at tomorrow. And maybe we can just purchase them and just rehab those and go ahead and rent those out. Now, that's what he want to do on his side. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm down with it. I'll support you, whatever you want to do, bro. Around 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to go and we're going to do that tomorrow. because there's work that need to be done. It doesn't matter that it's a Saturday. My days kind of run together these days anyway. The only reason why I can keep up with the Monday through Friday because it's when the banks are open. It's when business is being conducted. Other than that, I would lose sight of days because I'm no longer hustling for a weekend. Now, when I was hustling for a weekend, Monday felt like Monday. Tuesday felt like Tuesday. Wednesday felt like Wednesday. Thursday felt like Thursday. And Friday, I got a burst of energy because I was hustling for a weekend. These days, they all run the same way. The only thing that's different is business hours, certain things can happen. But I don't have anxiety thinking about the meeting that we're going to, about the meeting that we had, to plan for another meeting about a meeting. I don't even think about stuff like that anymore. When I have to have meetings with individuals, I'm certain that they probably going into the meeting thinking like, what is he going to say today? When I have to have meetings, but I try not to pull them into meetings. My employees, I try not to pull them into meetings because I know how it made me feel. And I don't believe in me for no reason. So what am I saying? The math that you have in your head currently right now today, whatever it is, whatever that math is, make it make sense. You tell yourself every single day you're trying to get up and go get a bag. You tell yourself every single day you got an amazing job. You love your business. Let's start making this stuff make sense. To all the people that are saying, I love what I do, I'm going to ask again, do you love what you do at your place of business, at your job, more than you love the people in your household? If the answer is no, then you don't love what you do that much. You love your why. Your why is the reason why you're going to work. If you love your why as much as you say you do, because it is what it is, do what you got to do to get your time back so you can spend it with the people that you care about and love the most. I do what the banks do, and I do what the wealthy people do. Policies and properties. I've been on this journey of truly building generational wealth in real life, not these things you hear on normal social media platforms. If they stop playing, I ain't gonna do them like that. And I give all this information on these platforms for free. That's really the gift, y'all. That's really the ultimate flex. In this day and age, call it August 4th, 2023. You got somebody on a social media platform. What's happening, Nate? You got somebody on a social media platform telling you how to truly build wealth for free. There's no course. There's no coaching program. There's no mentorship. It's just free. The stuff that I'm sharing with people, what's up, family? The stuff that I'm sharing with you guys, as you all done seen on all these platforms that we're on right now, you're seeing people type in the chat, oh, I did this and this worked. Oh, I did this and in 30 days, this is happening. Oh, I did this and man, that just changed my life. This stuff works, y'all. I was just like you. Y'all actually were a little bit better than me because I keep telling y'all, I ain't got no college degree. Y'all can't tell with the grammar that I use, some of the words that I mess up. I didn't have no head start. I just realized if you do some thinking, if you do some research, and you take some action, you gonna win. As long as it's legal, ain't nothing stopping you. Shout out to you, Miss T, for taking them steps, got the business set up, and you reached out to LexisNexis and started your dispute process. Shout out to you. This is how you build wealth, y'all. Wealth is not money, it's time. And when you got time, money is a byproduct of having time if y'all haven't figured it out. I know people say time is money, and I get that. I understand what it means. Most people saying, I got to give my time up so I can go get this money, so I can't give you this time. That's not what it means, y'all. If you got time, the money would come because you have time to think. You have time to do research. You have time to take some action to make it happen. You might be able to actually do that online. These days, you probably can do that online. The hard inquiries on your credit report, as far as in disputing them off, you probably can dispute those online. I think you can. I haven't been on those bureaus in years at this point, but I think you can. I think you could do it online versus having to mail it in. Shout out to you, Applehead. Is that right, Applehead? Yeah, shout out to you. Get ready to buy another property. You want to freeze your clue report and your personal file with LexisNexis. They're the company that houses all your information. So when Equifax, TransUnion, Experian go to verify your information, they're reaching out to LexisNexis to verify it. If it's frozen, ain't nothing coming back. It's just that simple. And it's free. With the tax who asked for a closing, asking for close to 3K to join an exclusive club to learn how to get rich. Nate, I'm gonna read this for all the other platforms up. Shout out to you, Nate, for sharing that, bro. So Nate said he was on a Zoom call with a tax consultant who was asking for close to $3,000 to join an exclusive club to learn how to get rich using tax loopholes. Nate, listen, Nate, shout out to you for sharing that. But I bet you was like, man, kick rocks with an open toe sandal. Y'all, information is free. Listen, the stuff that I share with y'all, people are taxing for it. They really charging an arm and a leg for this stuff, y'all. I can't even make this stuff up, even if I wanted to. I told y'all, when I very first started this process, one of the most uncomfortable conversations I ever had to have with my beautiful wife, I had to sit her down and told her I had just lost 90 grand, giving it to a coach / mentor to help us get this business going so we can get rich. That was the most uncomfortable conversation I ever had to have with my wife. Say my voice was in your head, she was convincing. Here's the scary part about it. Here's the part you got to really think about right here, Nate. So I'm happy you said that because they do be convincing. But ask yourself this question. Was she the owner of this company? Or did she work for this company? Remember, if somebody trying to sell you something and there's not a physical product attached to it, you are the product. It's like me going inside of a bank and talking to a wealth manager, a financial advisor, wealth manager, right? And they trying to tell me how to build wealth, but they working a job. I know that's counterproductive. I know that 100%. Because wealthy people don't trade their time for money. They trade their money for time. It's unreal when I hear people try to sell you things, because they do it to me still to this day. Okay, appreciate you, Nate. It's unreal when they try to sell me things or have me join. I want to help you build your business. I want to help you. I want to help. What's the other one that I get a lot? I want to help brand your business. What's up, family? You want to help do what? I work for my last name, not my first. My businesses that I'm a member of, they do well, y'all. They do really good. But this stuff that I do in building wealth, generational wealth, oh, they don't need no money. They don't need no money at all. I don't need nobody to brand it. In fact, I don't even want nobody to even know about it. I do not want a consumer to invest in that. I do not want a consumer to try to assist me with it. Not one bit. Don't need no help at all. Not even close. When you learn how to operate above money, it's a game changer. How do we do it? I'm going to talk about that for a second too, Kyle, because I know we got a lot of new people because I'm on 8 different platforms right now. Shout out to everybody that's on all the platforms. But you got to learn how to operate above money. How they get you, they entice you. I'm going to show you how to build all this money that they don't even have themselves. They going to show you how to get rich, and they not rich. The very first thing I normally tell people is this: only a fool want to be rich. You don't want to be rich. Take it from a person that got rich. I got rich, y'all. I can't even make it up. I got rich. I became a multimillionaire and was happy about it, bragging, going crazy, telling folks I'm the first multimillionaire in my family. And that was a true statement. I'm ecstatic that I got rich, calling myself a multimillionaire just to understand I was the richest poor person that my family member knew. And that's just the truth. You don't want to be rich. You want to be wealthy. Rich is a number. And if there's a number, that number is always going to go to zero. There's no other way around it. If you are rich and you stay rich, it's going to zero. It just is what it is. You want to be wealthy. Wealth is not a number. It's infinity. That's what you want. But people get us with the idea of, you got to invest in yourself. Buy this course, and we're going to show you how to make this amount of money off of this little bit of money that you got to invest in me to show you how to do this. It's a bad decision, y'all. So look, if you work in a job, if you have a business, you're in the perfect position. Even if you're retired, that's exactly what she said, Nate. That's hilarious. Even if you are retired, You're in the perfect position. If you have the ability to think, if you have the ability to do research, and you have the ability to take a little bit of action, you're in the perfect position to become wealthy. Stop listening to what people say and start looking at what they do. This is where the inner kid got to come out of you. You know how your kids do. You tell your kids to do everything in the world and they ain't listening to none of it. They do what you do. That's how you have to be in the real world right now today. I heard that. You got to do what you got. You can't listen to what people say. I don't listen to what the banks say. I don't listen to what the wealthy people say. I do what they do. Because if I was doing what the banks say, I'll be having my check going, my money for my business, the whole direct deposit, get the free checking account. It'll be going in there every time. I'll be putting all my money in the bank. If I was doing what they say, I do what they do. They buy policies and they buy properties. Policies meaning whole life insurance policies. Property means land. Yeah, you're going to build something on it. Appreciate you, Nate. I'll check it out. What's happening, family? Greetings to you as well. But I do what they do because they understand something better than anybody else. The banks know everything about money. The wealthy people know how to build generational wealth better than anybody that you know. So what does that mean? Land and policies are the only two things that don't go down in value. They only go up. Anything else you can think of, at least from what I know, and maybe y'all know something different, but anything you can think of go up and down all the time. But those two things right there are the only two things that I know that go up in value all the time. So if I got to invest my money to make money, because that's the point, I'm going to invest it in something that always is going to go up. I'm not going to invest in something that has the potential to go down. The banks and the wealthy people understand this. They ain't doing all this other stuff that people talk about. And all these individuals that's out here trying to show you how to get rich, how to get wealthy, and then turn around trying to charge you to show you how to do it. I'm 100% positive they don't know how to build wealth. And they definitely don't know how to make generational wealth. Not even close. And that's the truth. So check this out. When I give this scenario, I'm going to call this an example scenario because I have people that be on my platforms that be extremely literal. So let me say, this is an example scenario. In this example scenario, you can plug and play what you need to plug and play. Meaning when I talk about policies and the amount, you can plug the policy amount that you can afford. When I talk about properties and value, plug the amount where you live. All these things you can plug and play on your own personal self. This is an example so that you can have the blueprint on what to do. The very first thing you need to do, you got to get some form of a property. And I'm calling it a rental property. But we're going to take it a step back just a little bit. That's ultimately what you got to do. Whether you go through these first steps or not, you need that rental property. And I'll explain why once we get there, okay? Google land bank auctioneer me. Google land bank auction near me. Some states, they have it online. Appreciate the people on TikTok and Instagram that kind of help me out with that, because some states they're online and you can go bid online. I've never done that before, but people in the chats have. But Google land bank auction near me. A land bank auction is like a foreclosed auction, but for land. The starting bid at these land bank auctions are $3,000. So the question you're going to ask right now is, if you're in your area right now, how much does an acre of land cost you? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. You don't have to put it in the chats, but that's the question you want to ask. Starting bid is $3,000. For my people in the chat that has done it online, I don't know how many people be online, so I can't really talk to that. But I know on June 28th, almost a month and a half now ago, me, my brother, and my sister went to a land bank auction down here in South Georgia. It was 8 people there. We were 3 of the 8. A lot of people ain't even never heard of it before. And that's just the truth. You have about a 3-week ahead of time leeway when it comes to seeing what property is going to be auctioned off, which gives you time to do your due diligence. Once you've done your due diligence, go to these land bank auctions, y'all. Get active in there. Try to figure out how to get you a property, a piece of land. Once you have acquired that piece of land, you're going to start the process trying to figure out how to get that construction loan to get that property built on that home. Now, of course, you're going to have to clear the trees. If it's timber on that, we'll call it an acre of land. A timber, $4,000 an acre to come cut your trees. If it's a not timber and it's just other trees and it's not timber, reach out to the local paper company. See if you can negotiate something with them where they'll come and cut your trees for free, even if they're not paying you for it. Because you want to get these trees cleared so that you can build the property. Now, of course, I ain't gonna go through this much detail, but let me just say this so people know I understand what I'm talking about. Before that property get built, you're gonna have to test the soil. Your builder is gonna understand that, and your builder is gonna be able to walk you through that process. The bank is also gonna understand that too. So let me just throw that out there, just FYI. Once you get to the bank, cut my own trees. I ain't mad at you. Once you get to the bank and you have figured out everything you need to get this construction loan, whether you got to get the experience, go find a builder, find a partner, whatever it is, whether you got to fix your credit, go get it accomplished to get qualified so you can get approved for this construction loan. It just is what it is. The next thing that you're going to want to do is go get qualified. Your credit jacked up. All right, y'all, let's meet this quota. Company called LexisNexis. It's a company that houses all your information, all of it. When you call LexisNexis, you're going to want to freeze your CLUE report and your personal file. Once you've frozen your CLUE report and your personal file, you're going to want to reach out to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian and start disputing. Once you start disputing, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian are going to reach out to LexisNexis to verify your information. Being that your CLUE report and your personal file is frozen, nothing's coming back, y'all. And being that nothing's coming back, it has to come off your credit. They were unable to verify your information. Congratulations, you just fixed your credit. And if I didn't mention it before, it's free. Once your credit is cleared up, you got the stuff off your credit, you done got the partner, those things are accomplished, you head back to the bank and go get approved for this construction loan. Once you're approved for that construction loan, the bank is going to require you to get an approved builder. The bank got to approve them to build this home. The bank is going to partner with you on this process to build a home. That's going to help prevent from that builder running off with your money. Because now they're not running off with your money. They'll be running off with the bank money. And the bank ain't going to have that. The builder is normally going to take about 4 months. You're not building a custom home, y'all. 2,000 square foot. You're not building a big old home. You're building a regular home to rent out. It just is what it is. Once you've got that all situated, now you got to come up with a price point. For this example, we're going to say the value of the home is $200,000 that you're trying to build. As a person that then built 28 homes out of his own pocket, working on home number 29. Tomorrow morning, we'll be at home number 29 live. It normally takes half of the value of the home to build a home. I understand in certain areas that number is going to fluctuate a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily matter. It's okay. Go with the example. Input the proper numbers when you get to this step. So if the value of the home is $200,000, it's going to cost you about $100,000 to build this property. Take you about 4 months, give or take, to build the property out. Now you got a construction loan. After 4 months of that property being built out, what are you going to do? Put a tenant in it. If the home is $2,000 and you rent it out, minimally you can get $2,000 a month for rent. Minimally. On that $2,000 a month for rent that you're getting, that's amazing. That's all coming from the tenant. Once you got that, what are you doing? Going back to the bank to refinance out of the construction loan. We had a young man in here yesterday, was on, I think he was on my TikTok. He does the refinancing and the loan origination for whatever company he worked for homes. And he made the statement of it takes about 6 months to refinance out of the construction loan. Well, it's about 6 months. If it takes 4 months to build it, you got a tenant in there within probably the next 30 days. You're going back to the bank the next month, the second month. There's that 6 months. Once you've done that, you refinancing their home. The value is $200,000. They're going to give you an 80% loan. It's considered an investor's loan because you are investing in real estate at that point, which means you have to put down like 20%. Well, you got the 20% in the equity of the property. So if the home is $200,000, you're going to get a mortgage for $160,000. The 20% is the $40,000 in equity. On a $160,000 mortgage, and I should have did the math to get the exact number, but I don't really have the exact number, so you guys can make that happen the way y'all need to make that happen. But on a $160,000 mortgage, it'll cost you probably somewhere around like $1,200 a month for that mortgage. Your tenant paying $2,000 a month. So if your tenant paying $2,000 a month and your mortgage is $1,200 went to the mortgage, $800 left over. With that $800 being left over, you got to get what's called a return on your capital first. So that $800 ain't even taxed yet, y'all. Remember the $40,000 you had to put down? That's all. You all going through the business for that rental property because it's public. Business is public. We're going to get there, though. So that $800 is not taxed. You got to get that return on first. $200 of that $800 you're going to put to the side just in case you need to do repairs on this newly built home. The other $600, you're going to go get the biggest whole life insurance policy you can get. Your health is your wealth. The healthier you are, the bigger the insurance policy you get. That whole life policy got a death benefit and a living benefit. But here's the beauty. You ain't paying for it. Your tenant is. So a $600 whole life insurance policy, it'll get you about $500,000 in a policy. So let's do a recap. You then did this process. It took you X amount of dollars that you had to spend. Let's call it, for the sake of argument, $6,000 at the land bank auction of getting a property. Just call it that. I don't know. But now you got also a mortgage or a home that's worth $200,000. There's a part that I left out intentionally. Your construction loan was $100,000. When you refinanced that home, you're gonna get $160,000. $100,000 gonna pay off that construction loan. That's $60,000 going in your pocket, tax free. And your tenant paying all that back. So now you got a $500,000 insurance policy that your tenant paying for. A home that's worth $200,000 that your tenant paying for. And $60,000 in your pocket tax free that your tenant paying for. And it only took you 6 months. What are you doing after that? Repeating the process. It's going to take me another 6 months to duplicate the same thing I just did. If it's going to take me another 6 months to duplicate the same thing I just did, guess what's going to happen, y'all? Let's recap, boys and girls. Now you got $1 million in whole life insurance policy that your tenant paying for. $1 million. You got $400,000 in value of homes, because now you at 2 homes that your tenant paying for. And you got $120,000 in your pocket tax free that the tenant paying for. Sounds like $1.52 million in a year as your new net worth. Like I said yesterday, you ain't making this on no job. Your business, majority of the people out here that's conducting business ain't even doing that. And out of all that money that I just explained to you guys, in that process, net worth $1.5 million, you still didn't earn no income. There's a power play when you do that process. When you repeat that process every single year, you've been on your job for 15 years. You repeat that process for 5 years. You looking at $7.5 million net worth. You ain't making that on your job in 20 years. And that's just the truth. So what does that mean? That means you gotta start this journey in doing this. You can build wealth right where you at. That's just the foundation to get you started. Because once you've done that, by year 2, You got a net worth of $3 million. Now you can go and get that trust because you got the money to pay for it, to have it set up appropriately. Now your business can be something that you truly love to do. You like selling t-shirts, sell t-shirts. You like selling candles, sell candles. Whatever it is that you like doing for your business, do what you love to do. It just is what it is. So now you got properties, you got policies, you got a trust, and you got a business. If you don't start no business and you just gonna stay at your job because you love your job to death, you're gonna continue doing the same thing. If you already got a property, then are you making money off of your property? Do you have your property rented out already? If you got your property rented out already, then go get your policies. If you generate that type of income or you generate that type of net worth, I should say, go get your trust set up. If you have a business that you're doing already, these next 4 things, pay attention to. But if you already got a property you renting out, start at the step where you already got the property and you got the tenant in it already. Rent it out if you haven't. If you are renting out, do the process. Start wherever you're at. That's the real gift. Now you got your business or your job, depending on where you're at in life. You got your property, you got your policy, and you got your trust. In your trust is private. So everything that you have that's private and it shouldn't be out to the public, it needs to go in your trust. The roof over your head goes in your trust. Your checking accounts, your personal savings accounts go in your trust. You no longer have a checking or savings anymore. You're still an authorized user to use it however you like, but it's not your account. The only other thing that's going to go in this trust outside of your home that you're living in and your checking accounts is going to be other things that are personal that should be private. If you got brokerage accounts and it's not in your business and it's just in your personal name right now, it need to go in your trust. Your whole life insurance policies that you got going to your kids as the beneficiary need to move from your kids and go inside your trust. Your trust is the beneficiary of your policies. I'll explain why shortly. Hopefully this is making sense. The only other thing that's going to go in your trust is the land that you're going to be purchasing to help you build generational wealth. Business, property, policies, trust. The trust is a vehicle and the business is a vehicle in order to navigate your property and your policies to build generational wealth. Watch this. Your business or your job. So when I say this next thing, I'm just going to say business, but for the people that have a job, you can follow along the same way. Your business is going to have expenses. No, not at all. Your business is going to have expenses. And then your business is going to have taxes. Of course, you're going to have write-offs and all the other stuff, but that's between you and your CPA. Your business is going to have expenses and you're going to have taxes. For the people that have a job, when you get your paycheck, it's just going to be after taxes. So from a business expense, taxes. From a job, taxes, and then there's money left over. all that money that's left over after the expenses and the taxes, no matter if you got a job or a business, all that money left over is going to be separated into two spaces. A percentage, even your SSI check. Absolutely. Thank you for keeping me honest with that. Same thing. Whatever you bring at home after expenses and taxes, job, business, or retired, that money that's left over is going to go into two places. One of the places, which is the first place, you're going to take a portion of that money, whether you're doing it bi-weekly if you work in a job, or you're doing it yearly if you have a business, and you put it into your trust checking account, because your trust got bills, you don't. When your mortgage or your home goes into your trust, your home is going to get utility bills. The trust owns the home, so the trust is going to have to pay them bills. The money that you're going to get to pay those bills is going to be all the money after the fact. So if you got a business, expenses, taxes, money left over, you got a job, taxes, you retire, whatever you get in your retirement, a portion of that is going over to your trust, so your trust can pay the bills of the trust. Hope y'all caught that. The rest of the money that you have left over, here's where I'm going to separate it for the people that have a job, retire, or have a business. If you have a job or you retire, the money that you have left over, it's going to take you longer, but it's okay. You're going to take that money and stack it. Maybe it takes you 6 months of stacking it. Maybe it takes you a full year. But by December 31st, that money that you've been storing in a bank account before December 31st needs to go to zero. All that money before the end of the year that you've been putting away, if you got a job or you retire, it's going to be a lot of discipline. You got to dump that money into land. For the business owners, if you get lump sum of money every single month that's left over, it need to go into buy land. Period. So you got to think about the things that you're going to need, right? Remember, there's only two things when we're talking about trust and business. Business is public, trust is private. Is the bank account, house, deed, etc., trust name? Yes. All that stuff is getting transferred over to the trust. But I think Car One Rich just asked a really good question. You don't ever need cash anymore at that point. Remember, your bills that's in your house is getting paid by the trust because it's no longer your home, it's the trust home. You got to have a vehicle. Your vehicle is public because if you get in a car accident, you don't want it in your trust and they attack your trust. You don't want that. So being that your vehicle is public, your vehicle is a business vehicle. And just for the sake of argument, the business vehicle, it's going to have to weigh over 6,000 pounds, y'all. At least that helps you get some of the write-offs that you have going. Now, if you don't want to get the whole write-off, then hey, it is what it is. But if you want to get the full benefit, it got to be used for business 100% of the time. And you got to weigh over 6,000 pounds. 100% of the time got to be used for business. Well, you're asking yourself, but what about when I go here? That's not for business. Remember, you're buying land. Land is going to be one of your businesses, buying land. And everywhere you drive to, you looking for land. You always conducting business. Everywhere you go. I hope you caught that. Now you're going to ask, what about food? you're going to have employees on your business. Even if your employees is just you, your spouse, some of your kids, even if it's just you, you're going to have an employee. You got to keep the morale up. And being as you got to keep the morale of your employees up, buy them lunch every day, y'all. I got 35 employees. I'm about to hire actually 10 more employees on Monday. Feed your employees every day. 35 of those employees right now is me. I'm one of the 35. My wife is one of the 35, and 4 of my 6 kids. All my employees, collectively, they work 7 days a week, 365 days a year, even on the holidays. Collectively, they don't work. All of them don't work every day, but between most of them, I have people working 7 days a week. So I buy all my employees lunch every day. They ain't never got to worry about buying no food, ever. And I make sure it's enough food sometimes for them to take home and have leftovers. That's business. So now you ain't got to buy no food through your trust. Now you ain't got to buy a vehicle through your trust. Watch this. Zabo 103 is also a business. I ain't making no money on these social media platforms. Business expense, business expense, business expense, business expense, business expense. We can keep going. It's business. It's public. Checked off the box with clothes. Man, I saw you in this outfit. You just look like you spent about $7,000 in that outfit. The business paid for that $7,000 outfit. The reason why you saw me on it, because I was conducting business on social media and I used it for content. Make it make sense, people. You ain't got to get no, your trust ain't buying no vehicle. Your trust ain't buying no food. Your trust ain't buying no clothes. Man, I saw you and your wife in Hawaii. That was a nice little vacation. And it looks like it was your birthday and your wife's birthday. Y'all birthday around the same time? We were on location, not vacation. We went out there to conduct business. We buy land, y'all. We do content for social media. We went to Hawaii looking for land. Did y'all know 1 acre in Hawaii that we went and saw? And I was live when I was out there doing this. It was $35 million for 1 acre. That was a business trip. You got that right. The business paid for the flight. The business paid for the hotel. The business paid for the car rental. The business paid for the food. The business paid for the clothes. The business even paid for us to go ATVing because we were doing content on social media. Well, you can keep up with the receipts, absolutely, but you put it on your business credit card. You get statements. All this stuff is important. Your business credit card that you swiping is for business. You know, like how I used to do with Bank of America. I had a $50,000 credit line with Bank of America on my corporate card. There for 20 years as an executive without a college degree. We went out to, let me do this. I'm going to end this